What is going on, everyone? How the hell are you? It's wonderful to be here. I realize I didn't put a number. This is episode 117. Pardon me. My name is Tyler. Welcome to the Amp Sim Show. And today we've got the low. The low of the low McLow is hanging out today and decimating things with this V2 of the Harley Benton Baritone finally coming to fruition. I've had it for a bit now. It survived a postal strike. The box looked like someone had run it over with a tank. It literally looked like someone took it through like a war. But eventually it got here. I'm happy to be here. I hope you guys are as well. It's Saturday. It's beautiful outside, but I'd rather be in the house. It's okay. It's actually not that beautiful. It looks beautiful, but I don't know how beautiful it actually is. It was nice. I got out there and ran some errands and had to go get a three-way switch, a new toggle switch for this, because the switch that came with this was so fucking cheap that it basically, I somehow, some way melted it. By the way, if you're in the chat, say hi. I won't bite you. I won't bite you guys. Today we're hanging out, and so what did I do here? I put a set of P90 sized EMG 8185, and thank you so much to Tommy over at EMG. Tommy is just so rad, and he's always treated me with so much respect and so much, such a generous dude. Thank you so much to Tommy. Let's hear cheers to Tommy, actually. And so this is not the original plan for this guitar. The original plan was to do a set of P90s with Aurora Tone. But he is just so swamped with orders right now that we weren't able to come together on it, and we'll come together on it later. But anyways, we're here, we're hanging out, and I'm going to be giving away a copy of Absalon today. This is Absalon here. I'm going to be giving away a copy of Absalon. This is actually designed for and kind of put together for people on the baritone on the low. What's going on, Ton Guitarra? Thank you for being the first one to say hello. Appreciate you. And we've got a nice little lineup today of things, including the new amp locker. The chainsaw. The HW2 amp head. That's pretty cool. So we'll be checking that out. I gave it a really brief rip and it sounds awesome. However, we're trying to figure out what works and what sounds good for now. And I'm going to go with the EGA 414 and I'm going to go with the Ampcraft here. I just want to make sure everything sounds good. See how everything sounds. Let's... And of course, there are a lot of bands that have been using EMG for the dejunt for a long time. That is definitely a very common pickup. Despite how that community tends to go real hype gear crazy, and Fishman is definitely all the rage in the gent circles as well. But like, it's impossible not to notice how many guitar players in the gent world are also just still using EMGs. A lot of people think EMGs have kind of fallen fallen by the wayside ever since Fishman came into play. But it's also important to note that both companies provide something very different. Yes, they're technically a competitor, and yes, there was a bunch of artists crossover between the two of them. But in my personal opinion, Fishman and EMG sound nothing alike. They're just both actives. And it's like, they sound nothing alike. I did not fix the Studio Lord. I had a pain in the ass with this. This should have been really easy, and it wasn't. Okay? It should have been, and these pickups dropped in. No routing needed. They just dropped right in. I had to re-drill the guide holes because the old ones were the soap bar style, where the guide holes are in the middle of the pickup kind of awkwardly. Whereas on these, they are like the soap bar style and they're on the end. So I just had to re-drill those holes super, super fast, super easy. They went in like a gem, like just absolutely like a glove. They fit perfectly. However, there are some problems with this install. For starters, I had to go get another 3-way toggle. I was going to replace it anyways but I wanted to see, it didn't seem that bad or anything, so I was just going to stay with the one that they send you with the guitar. But no. Instead, I guess I must have somehow melted it. I've never ruined a 3-way switch before, so it must have been extra cheap. And I ended up kind of ruining the switch somehow to where bridge position was giving me both pickups. Middle position was giving me both pickups, and the neck position was giving me one pickup. Did my continuity test, figure out that something somewhere on the inside of somewhere, the switch got fucked up. So I had to go get another switch. After that, it worked like a charm. However, the EMG jack also had one of the points that was too long to go in this routing. It barely fit into this routing. This is a very, very small route for your jack, especially an active jack where it's got the 3 points instead of just the 2. This was I had no idea it was going to be as much of a pain in the ass. So after it was a pain in the ass and then an injury. So you see what this looks like, right? You see these pins. This is a typical EMG pot. This is 25K. Now what happened was I was trying to push one of the leads on. My finger slipped. And if you notice, there's a hole right in. It got one of these pins. I was trying to push it on and went boop. And all of a sudden, my finger, it was impaled by one of these little points here. And it sucked. It sucked more than getting burnt by a soldering iron. Normally I can just walk my way through. Those are inevitable. So the install was not super simple, but it wasn't difficult either. It wasn't that big a deal. I didn't have to remove any material from the guitar, which is important to know because I know a lot of other people that have modified these JA Baritones have had to remove a significant amount of material to incorporate or to involve humbuckers. Here's my thing with you guys. If you buy one of these, don't buy humbuckers. Buy P90 sized humbuckers. Find them. There's a few of them out there that exist. You do not need to do any routing. However, if you're proficient and you have yourself a really nice router, or if you have access to like a CNC router or something ridiculous, go ahead. But if you don't want to remove any material, I didn't have to. That being said, I want to give you guys the full rundown. I wanted to do the 18-volt mod to this, but then I realized that was not going to be possible because there is barely a route under here. And the route that they do give you, you have to, if you're doing actives, there's kind of a lot, you cannot fit 2 batteries in there. Even fitting 1 battery, I had to compress and organize every single solitary wire out of the way of everything in order to get this pick guard to get down flat and get to where nothing was bumping into each other. So the install wasn't super simple. Tall man, skinny lady. I'm glad what email address did you email? Because I did not receive your email. The Amp Sim Universe at gmail.com. Please do email me and I'll check it midstream here to make sure that I've got that email because I want to get you out a copy of, I believe it was Cobra or was it Absalon? Either way, we're also giving away a copy of Absalon today. we're going to get started with the Ampcraft 1992 just because I want to feel things out. Well, find out what the pickups are giving me. And as you guys are very well aware, I always preach that if you're trying something new, anything new in your chain, always make sure the rest of your chain is completely familiar. You're very familiar with the amp. You're very familiar with the cab, the pedals, anything, the guitar itself, whatever it is. Make sure that whatever you're not testing out is something that's very familiar, so you can figure out what it is that the new thing is giving you exactly. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Wow, that's big sounding. That is big and beefy sounding. Wowzers. Wowzers. Yeah, that's huge sounding. That sounds gigantic. Metal Tune, what's going on? Seuss, what's going on? Pedro, what is going on? Bo, what is going on? Everybody, this is F sharp. Seuss. I ever tuned in F sharp. Standard 8-string minus 2 strings. Kind of. I think it's F sharp, B, E, A, C sharp, F sharp, I believe is. Nope, no noise at all, baby. There's still some noise, but still. That's just because these are EMGs and these are higher output. I've got lights. I've got lots of noise in my environment. But no, I don't need like 9 noise gates in succession to take care of the noise from the cheap P90s. That being said, the Harley Benton JA Baritone's pickups that it comes stock with are really not that bad. They could be worse. They could be much worse. And I've heard much worse. So for a guitar that you're not paying a lot for, you're going to pay like, I think it's like $180, $200 or some shit like that. This guitar is just the structure itself. No guts, no pickups, just the build itself. What you get is worth probably closer to $400 or $500. It is a very strong construction. It is very well made for the price point. So, but the pickups I needed to get rid of them. They had to go. I went through a few different options. Initially, I was thinking humbuckers, and then I realized underneath here, I'd have to do a shitload of routing material, and I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to find some pickups I could drop in. I thought about Mojo Tone, noiseless P90s. There's a few different P90s I was playing with the ideas. But then I found out that these existed. I didn't even know these existed until someone had said, hey, what about EMGs? They have P90s. I was like, shit, I was with EMG and been with EMG forever. And I never even interested myself with a P90. I had no care in the world for a P90. So I never really looked. Now I know they exist. So this is a P90 sized EMG 81 and a P90 sized 85. So how much the 85 gets used or not, we'll see. But man, things sound good so far. The response is great. The guitar feels good. I messaged Bo and I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, this is a weird one because I've done so many EMG installs and they are so predictable all the time. It's like you guys name it. What is the most consistent fast food restaurant you can think of? Whenever you go there, doesn't matter who's in the kitchen, doesn't matter what's going on. You know you are getting a consistent meal that may or may not be very good for you, but it works. And so that to me that was the situation I was in. It was very, very simple. Everything else. Then what the hell's going on? Why is this broken? I figured out I fried the jack. It is what it is. It's the consistency of the quick connect installs from EMG. They're very easy installs, guys. If you're ever looking to start installing your own pickups, I would actually suggest that you start with a set of EMGs. I would suggest that you start with a set of EMGs because they have quick connect. There's not a lot of soldering to do, if any. Well, no, there's going to be maybe a little bit of soldering to do, but generally not a lot. And if you're only doing one pickup and you have if you're only doing like a bridge pickup, I don't think there's any soldering. If you're only doing a bridge pickup and there's no switch or anything in play, it's just like a one pickup and a volume. I don't even think there's any soldering at all in that scenario. So if you're looking at, you're out there and you're like, well, this sounds like a good idea. Yes, do it. However, I've also heard the very misleading statement that fishmen are just like installing EMGs. No, they're fucking not. No, they're fucking not. Fishermen's I would actually put into the intermediate to advanced category as far as installs go, to be honest with you. And you have to have a good iron that's not too hot, because I'm actually bringing the Telecaster to you guys. You guys saw that I messed it up. When I got that Greg Koch set, it was so easy to install. They have these 5 little these pre-soldered points, and they've got holes in them. And then you just put the wires in, and quick one, you're done. It's so fast. But then when I took them out and put something else in, then all of a sudden those solder points were all kind of gummed up. And even using a solder sucker and stuff like that, I could not get the gum and like the little tiny pieces of wire out. And I didn't want to, like, my iron's really hot and I didn't want to fry this whole board, which I think I may have anyways, but we'll see. So I'm going to bring it to a friend of mine who has 100 times the skill, 100 times the equipment. And it's nice to see him once in a while anyway. So every once in a while when I can't do something or I just don't want to, bring it to him. Pickguard for a Strat? Dude, made in China. It's actually a song by some Chinese rappers. Go and look it up. It's a song. You can find it on Spotify. It's called Made in China. And you'll never get it out of your head for as long as you live. Every time you see something was made in China, it's going to go right up here and trigger that. It's guaranteed. That's the best way to get Strat pickguards, buddy. I wouldn't get licensed Strat pickguards. I would just go via the eBay route where you're going to wait a while for it. But yeah, just get the ones made in China. You can buy like 2 or 3 in different colors. And, buy one in red, buy one in blue, buy one in white, whatever it is. You can get a few of them you can probably get 4 or 5 for what it would cost you to go and get an actual Strat pickguard. And especially if it's like a Squire or made in Mexico, there's no point in the world to go and buy one of those American-made pickguards. You can also buy pre-wired pickguards, which are pretty cool, but that's going to cost you a good arm and a leg. Today I tuned the E string on my Telly down to A. Really? A. That's really bizarre. I've never even heard of that tuning before. It's like a way more evil drop D. The bridge pickup is so noisy with high gain real amp. It sounds killer. Yeah, I agree, Seuss. Pantera has a couple of songs tuned like that on the Great Southern Trendkill. Do they really? Interesting. I had no idea. That little thing you see behind me on the couch there, that's called a Merlin. If you guys have never played a Merlin, it's pretty interesting. It's like a... Definitely gives you that sort of like, you know, medievally type music, you know, tavern music from the back in the olden times or something along those lines. And there's no wrong notes. It's very strange. There are no, there's only one wrong note, and the way that's tuned is D. It's a 4-string instrument, but two of the strings are a drone together, so it's tuned D-A-D. But the two strings, the doubled string they're tuned together. They're not tuned an octave up or an octave down from each other. They're actually tuned the exact same tuning. So it's a really interesting sound. I'll have to pick it up and play something at some point. It's very, very interesting. So no matter where you put your fingers, it sounds like you're playing like a folk song. It's very interesting. All right, let's keep playing. All right, so we know that sounds good. I took it for a spin. Now let's get interesting. Let's get out and explore some stuff. This is the new chainsaw amp. This is the HW2 amp head, and that's pretty cool. I think it looks neat. I think I'm feeling like a little bit more verb today. I'm going to go back to the Viper pit. Feel like a little more verb in the background. That to me just sounds like it's all being held back in every way, shape, and form. What are we doing here? Let's crank that up. By the way, I took the tone knob out. This is a dummy. Rather. There's nothing under that. In fact, I had to pull apart a pot. I had an old pot that I knew the pot was roasted anyway, so I pulled it all apart so that all it's giving me is the shaft. Okay, so I'm gonna go right past these IRs. It's not that I don't like them. It's just I don't know. I wouldn't mind having all of the IRs for this, so maybe I'll see if they'll hook me up with some more of the IRs. But like I always say, if they give you the option to load your own, and they can't be mad if you do that, right? So I'm just gonna go with the EGA on this one while we test some things out. Neat. All right, that sounds good so far. We got that. I could think of maybe a tad bit brighter IR I could use here. That's an old school IR, but we're gonna use it anyway. I find this lacks some top end. I need a little bit more bite on the top. Crank this all the way up. That sounds pretty darn good. Whoa! That just got angry. It's like scooped and then real angry in the middle. Mid's angry. Angry. I wouldn't mind a little bit more top end on this if that would be possible somehow. It sounds pretty damn cool, guys. This is beefy. David Montosa, how are you? Eddie, how's it going, man? Good to see you. I'm not sure when Eddie jumped in. Oh, I read one of that Pantera comment was Eddie. Yeah. Just making sure that we got 11 folks in here today. Nice to see everybody. It's wonderful. Brimer's playing with his ball. He's letting everybody know I'm playing with my ball. Brian here. Yeah, he's very excited. Very excited he's got his ball. Yeah, it's cool, but I wouldn't mind a little bit more top end. I could probably use it. I probably should use a brighter IR. Maybe we can use like a little. It sounds cool though, guys. It's real cool. Do they have like a 33 or do these guys have a 33 or a grind? Is there hello? Metal Zone. HMZ. No, there is not a I thought maybe there'd be like a Fortin 33 or something kicking around here. I say the Hex Drive though. That's cool. Anyways, we're just chilling out, going through some random plugins, having a good time with this JA Baritone and a lovely set of EMGs that, apart from the absolutely melting the three-way switch somehow, the install went pretty well. I will caution people that putting a set of actives in here that this cavity here for the input is a little small. And I had to do a little bit of I had to do a little bit of that. Also, this cavity is also quite small, but there is a really nice area that you could technically route something out. And I would actually think about it. I would have definitely done it if I had a proper like router setup with like the, with like the guide and everything like that. If I had that, I would have definitely considered routing it out. Enough space for at least like one or maybe even two batteries. But for now, it sounds pretty damn good. We're going to keep going, go through some random stuff. I was using Nolly X yesterday and it came out sounding just buttery smooth. So I think I'm just going to go back to this for a few minutes as well. How's it going, Exhume Corpse? Nice to see you. Nice to see everybody today on a Saturday. That's sounding pretty damn good. Pretty damn good, if I do say so. We're listening to, I think we're listening to a blend. Well, we were supposed to listen to a blend. We're going to listen to After the Burial Radio in the background. I thought I'd put on something a little bit more. Get away from our playlist a little bit today. I can do that. I'm torn because I know the song. A lot of people think it's played. But then when I saw them live, it was playing at more. That little up pick. So I think either way sounds cool to me. That sounds beefy. So ballsy. It sounds so ballsy. It does. That's sounding pretty awesome. How's everybody doing today, man? Yesterday was a pretty fun stream yesterday. We didn't end up on the thermionic topic for long, but and I mentioned yesterday that man, I'm in some crazy talks right now for some signature plugins. And and Exhumed Corpse, I'm actually gonna just for funskies, I'm gonna email you about who I've been chatting with. I think you're gonna be very excited. Mom. This is Momp City. Momp City. Lorna Shore. What's everybody's opinion on Lorna Shore? I have a problem with that band. My problem is that it's like there are a lot of good riffs and a ton of talent in that band. They have so many talented dudes in that band. The entire band is a lot of talent. The drummer is an absolute fucking monster. Excuse me. But the problem with Lorna Shore for me, the only problem with them is that the second you start to get into a riff, it's gone. And it doesn't. Sometimes the riffs don't even come back. Like, here's this cool riff. We're gonna play it for like 4 bars, and then switch to something else, and 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 it's just like part after part after part. Like this part, fucking rips. They have so many rad parts in their songs. I just wish they would stay on those rad parts just a tiny bit longer. I'm going plug-in to plug-in today. We're having fun times. That was loud. It is what it is. This is Absalon, and you guys have seen this one before. It's pretty sick. It's a lot of fun. We're just checking out random plugins today, and this is Absalon from Aurora DSP. I'm going to be giving one of these away today for free, and can't wait to see who wins that. It'll be exciting. I hope it's you. I don't know who I'm talking about, but I hope it's you. And this thing is very simple. Any of these vertical plugins from Aurora DSP are always worth the money. They're very, very simplistic, very easygoing. This one's based on an orange. What happened there? Oh, I see. All right, so this one's pretty easygoing. You just kind of, it's really easy. Gives you 2 IRs. That's a mop. This is an orange. This is based on an orange. I think is it Thunderverb? I think. I gotta know these things. Anyhow, this thing is kind of fun. Check these out. And if you don't like the IRs, and there are only 2 available, then simple, just switch to your own. Switch to your own, and then you're laughing. Wheatleys. Anyhow, This one's fun. So is Goblin. Goblin's free. Cobra's very cool. If you haven't checked out any of these out yet, please do. I like the Savage side of this plugin a little bit better. And it's very solid. And this is another company that I can promise you has some really sick stuff coming out very soon, actually, starting very soon. And like it's almost like there's an endless string of awesome Aurora DSP releases that I can see down the pipe right now. And getting a chance to work along with Aurora DSP on some of these releases is going to be a lot of fun. And here is the upcoming release. This is the Laboga Diamond Sound Suite. There are 2 amps. It gives you some pedals. It gives you a lot of fun. And I guarantee you guys are going to like. We'll check that a little bit later in the stream. Just bouncing from plugin to plugin right now, testing this thing out, seeing, putting it through its paces and seeing how it really sounds with a good solid set of pickups. And the answer is really good. Like really, this sounds terrific. Mop, and more mops. A little bit on the high end side there, though. Wow. As far as Orange goes, I'm really interested in the new solid state amps they recently put out. Yeah. They've always had some good solid state stuff, that Orange, though. Like, I remember the Orange Crush. And I remember just going to jam with some friends, and they're like, you can use that amp. And I'm like, it was just like the Orange Crush. I knew nothing about it at the time. And I was just jamming with some people for the sake of jamming. I was like, yeah, I'll plug in. And I had no idea that this thing was solid state until they told me. I was using it thinking to myself, holy shit, this thing sounds really good. And you put a fuzz pedal in front of it, and man, it sounds like a wall of fucking, there's a lot of air moving with that thing. And they're like, man, it's not bad for a solid state amp, huh? And I was like, solid state for realsies? Wow, okay. I had no idea. I had no idea that it was a solid state amp. And I was very impressed. Hold up a second. I'm very confused. Casket Crusher and Exhumed Corpse. I thought y'all were the one in the same person. And I'm seeing the same emojis. Tubes are for noobs. Ilmyrus, how are you? Nice to see you. Hanging out today. We're hanging out with this wonderful guitar that I'm actually kind of over the moon for this guitar, if I'm being straight up with you guys. This thing sounds really good. I'm going to put a fuzz pedal out front of this thing because I'm curious. We're going to use the Doom-A-Gorgon out front of this thing, but I'm going to bring the gain way back on this amplifier. Okay. I'm going to bring it not all the way back, but I just want to see. Let's see what we're playing with here for a sec. That sounds pretty good. So let's kick this in now. That's not, it's not hitting the right way. Let's find out what can we do better here. Let's take sound, yeah, that's what we were doing. Let's try that now. There we go. I just had to turn off that grind setting. I forgot how good the EMG 85 was for Doom. You can put those into a shovel, and how, man? I once saw a video of a dude that did it in a goalie stick, and it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. He made a Doom stick out of a goalie stick. It was one string or two strings, I can't remember. But it was made out of a fucking goalie stick, and I'm like, yeah, it is. Yes, it is. In fact, I'm pretty sure somebody played... One of the dudes played on After the Burial song with a Doom stick that had just... You could put an EMG in a fucking toaster and it'll sound good. And people did it. Ah, I see what's going on here. Exhumed corpse. Wowzers. Huge. It's so much more fun to say huge. Now I feel like I shouldn't be saying it anymore, you know? I feel like... Yeah, you're right. I think that when Fishman came out, everyone was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. It was the same thing, though, when Seymour Duncan did them as well. Seymour Duncan's, was it not the Live Wires? I always forget the name of the Seymour Duncan ones. Yeah, anyways, every single Blackouts, got it. Every single time a company has come out with a new active pickup, the market is clamoring for, they're the next greatest thing ever. But they're not. I mean, they're just different pickups. I feel like people eventually came to their senses and realized that one doesn't need to replace the other. What the fuck is this? It's so strange that, like, whenever a new passive pickup comes out, nobody ever says, oh, well, this pickup, screw that pickup because this one just replaced it. Nobody ever says that. They just like, oh, cool, a new pickup. It's a different sound. It's an altered version of this or that or the other thing. It's great. I like that about passive pickups. But whenever a new active pickup comes out, it's always got to be about, this is the new EMG. It's the new this or it's the new that. Why? Why can't it simply be another active brand that just simply fucking exists? I've learned to have a lot of respect for both brands. I really don't like the way Fishman came on the scene and where a certain member of a band called Unearth that was working for Fishman decided to go and try to poach a lot of people from EMG and successfully did that. But I think once it simmered, there was a lot of people that went back to EMG after realizing that Fishman is not EMG and EMG is not Fishman. It's just nice to have something else that's there. They're different birds. And I, for one, love me an 81. EMG 81 and 85s, it's classic. There are EMGs I don't like, and there are some EMGs I like. Same with Fishman. There are some Fishmans I really don't like, and there are some Fishmans that I really enjoy. I think that if you're curious, the best Fishman sets I've ever used were the Matt Heafy, the guy from Trivium, the dude with the strap. Anyways, his signature set was really, really, really good. Also, the Ryan Bruce with the little jumper on the back that you can get that extra little bit of zazz. Little bit of jazz. Extra little bit of jazz. Check out my card, please. Anyways, fucking-tastic. The Ryan Bruce signature pickup. That one is awesome as well. I tried the Devin Townsend set. I've tried probably, I think, like, gosh, it's got to be 5, 6, 7 sets of Fishmans. And they were all comparable. And there's a very similar voicing to a few of the sets that I tried. They were nice enough. Thanks so much to Nate. I reached out to Fishman to see if they would mind hooking me up with something for my Jackson, that pink Jackson. And they sent me a set of open core nickel blades. Very excited to try those. I think they're going to be a lot of fun, and I think that the tones I'm hearing from them so far are going to be really cool. Have been really cool, so I think they're going to be ideal for that Jackson and see what we can do with it after that. But I mean, my suggestion is if you're into EMGs, don't go to Fishman expecting a greater and better EMG. That's not what it is over there. It's not what it is. If you're going over there to try and find something that just sounds like an 81 but better, that's not what's going on. It's definitely a different bird. So they both have their ups and downs. They both have their things. But gosh, a white set of EMGs in a black guitar, or really any like dark colored guitar, is just so nice. It's just like you look at it and you're like, damn. I really, really wanted to see if just by chance I could get them to make me a hot neon pink set of 81 85s. I don't know if that exists or not, though. It would be funny if it did, though. They made purple a while back, and I actually could have got my hands on a set, but I had no guitar to put them in. No guitar to put them in. But they can make pickups in a lot of different colors over there. Thomas, finally, Thomas's pickups are on the way. All right, there's a few other things I want to try in this stream. If you guys want to hear something with this particular instrument through a plugin that you, whether you love it or hate it or whatever, let me know. Help me out. Throw some options at me, and I'll try some things out. Next idea here, though, is I'm going to go with Nameless Suite. I'm going to go with Nameless Suite. We're going to have some fun with this. Oh, that sounds good already. I'm already excited, and we just got here. That's sounding beefy. All right, we're going to keep looking for that something. That's cool. That's cool. I get it. The grind is on. I'm not a big fan of the grind. In fact, I'm just going to put my own pedal. We're going to turn this gate off. I'm just going to put my own pedal in the mix. And we're going to use a dead horse. Cool. And we're going to move some things around just a little bit here. That's pretty sizzling. That's very sizzling, actually. I don't have a tone control in this, so it's pretty much just like screaming ahead. Wow, that is very, very bright. Let's bring that back. That's very, very bright, like brighter than the sun bright. Okay, well, I did also bring it too close to the center. I agree, Elmira's 100%. EMG says that the X series of pickups are designed so that you don't need to do those mods, the 18 volt mod, etc. I would disagree. That an 81 with the 18 volt mod does sound better than the 81X. Just my opinion. You guys can go and check things out. The search bar right up here, and lots of comparisons between the 81, the 81X, the 81 with the mods, and the 81X stock. Lots and different things out there that you guys can go check out and make sure that you do if you're interested in that. I want to hear Baby Shark through bias, please. No, thank you. Baby Shark, man, don't fuck with Baby Shark. Man, I'm having a good day today. Just such a nice day. I got up today, started on this, did some fun stuff. It's been a decent day. All right, we're gonna back this off a little bit, and I'm gonna use some distance. That's very, very... Let's bring that back a bit. Wow, that is so bright. Can't see because the light's too bright. It's just so ice picky. Starting to wonder if I should have... There was actually no way I was installing the tone control. That wasn't going to happen. Let's turn off the cabin and go with something darker. I also could have just gone with... something a little bit, just a less bright mic setup. Back that off a bunch more, actually. And... Are those new strings? Yes, brand new fucking strings. Yeah, it's very shiny. This tone is very, very bright. Not to say it's bad by any means, but like when you take the tone control out of the picture, you just have to understand that sometimes it's gonna happen. And I'm just going through random pedals and random stuff today, random IRs. I'm actually gonna try some IRs now from a company that makes amps, just an analog amp builder that recently did some impulse responses, actually, and I'm kind of curious to how they sound. And I know their cabinets to be... This is a company called Science. And if you haven't heard of Science before, well, I would suggest you go and check them out. Wow, there is a lot happening here. Let's go with a 57, darker. Wow, that sounds cool. Can I get a 421 on the other side, please? Wow, let's do that. That sounds like a fun idea. Let's do that. I like that. Check these out. These are free IRs, and you guys are going to see them on... you guys will be seeing them on Freeware Fridays. And I'm just going to stay inside the same cabinet for now. Go with the brighter, and let's just blend. I was also using the entire time there, I was using the neck pickup. Let's go back to Nameless Suite for a second. I had no idea. I just kind of forgot I was using the neck pickup. Nah, it didn't seem to matter. It's fucking bright, boys. Bright. Bright. I don't think I've ever turned a tone control down past... Yeah, so far so good. I would strongly advise if you're interested... Whoa, I'm rolling away. If you guys are interested in baritone guitars at all, get yourself a Harley Benton and just modify it. The tuners are actually way better than I thought they were. I was 100% ready to rip those out and put new ones in. 100%. I wasn't even thinking about it. Then I got it and was like, wow, these are actually pretty good. And most of the reviews that of this guitar will point to the tuners being pretty solid. In fact, most of the reviews of this guitar are almost the same. Everybody mentions the same ups and the same downs, except for one video where the guy was like, these frets are garbage. These frets are actually really nice. You just have to put some work into them. Like, you have to polish them. And once you polish these frets up, these things are actually really nice jumbo-sized frets. This is a wonderful guitar. Wonderful guitar for the price point. It's like $180 US or something ridiculous. Like, how are you doing this? Like, how are they offering this guitar for this cheap? I don't know. I didn't need to do any fret leveling. That was the other thing. I just had to make sure all the ends were nice and soft. I had to make sure that they were nice and polished. I did spend about 4 or 5 hours on the frets. Just making sure that they're nice and polished and filed to perfection, but I didn't need to do any fret leveling. I didn't crowning, etc. And I didn't have to do anything like that. They were all nice, and that really surprises me because normally with cheaper instruments, the fretwork is complete trash. With this, somehow, some way, the frets are all great. The bridge is really, really nice for being like, import made and probably just random metals of some type. But yeah, everybody points to the pickups being pretty terrible for high gain, which is, strange because it was actually an interesting choice altogether to do what they did in doing the P90s for like what is definitely going to be used for high gain. Everyone that bought this guitar, I would say out of everyone that bought this guitar, 96% of those people were intending on using it with just quite a bit of distortion, I would say. That's my guess, speculation at best. But yeah, when you change the pickups and for what you pay for this instrument, going and buying a set of pickups isn't that big a deal. Like, you're not paying, but you can go get a new set of pickups and probably still be out the door $400 on this guitar. And $400 for what sounds and plays really nice. I mean, I have all the confidence in the world in this build. Mark, how are you? Nice to see you. I'm here for the tones. All right, I can give you tones. Yeah, it sounds really good. It really does. These impulse responses are free. You can get them from Science. It's a company called Science. You just look up Science amps and you go to IRs and they're straight there. It's ready to just take it. I do suggest donating though. You know, throw the creator $5, $10, whatever you feel they're worth. $3 even. Enough for a coffee would be cool. He's got some amazing amps, and I think I just have this suspicion you guys are going to be hearing more about this company. And the amp itself, the most recent amp and the 2 amps that are coming soon. This dude builds some really, really nice stuff. So check out Science. Science! Yeah, dude, the Ampcraft is just so good. I keep going back to it because I feel like just having some fun, you know? And we're going to move some plugins around in here. Absalon. And we're going to get rid of some of these other ones. We're going to get rid of the DS as well for now. Check that release out when it comes. And I don't know what we're going to use it through. Oh, wow. I see the Doom Suite right here. No, not the Doom Suite. I don't know what the fuck we're listening to right now, but whoever's playing the synth should just get punched in the face. I don't know what that was all about. I'm kidding. Don't punch anybody in the face for playing synth. We don't encourage the abusive synth players around here. I don't know what I want to throw in here. I have access to so much. I'm going to throw Rhino in for now because I know that's going to be the tones, but I'm not going to use it just yet. We're going to drag it up here and we're going to go back to Ampcraft and I'm going to test out some other stuff. These IRs though are not screwing around. They sound really good. I can't get a pitch harmonic there. No, it's such a low note. Mop 2 drop Z, use hypertune. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that right now. I think I'm low enough, man. I'm in F sharp. Cut me some slack. Kidding. All right, we're going to keep going though. Wait, no, it's... My favorite corn riff to play is Right Now. If you haven't heard the song Right Now by Korn, you got to listen to that song. It's definitely one of their best. If not, I think it's my favorite song by them anyways. Or you can play that song Good God. If you guys want to see an insane guitar riff, go look at the tabs and go listen to Good God by Korn. It utilizes the low string and the first fret. And if I'm not mistaken, like they go way up here, like way up. And the transition is madness. How fast they do it as well. Those guys are much better at guitar than one might think. That's another signature plugin I would actually kind of get down with. That's something that you might see like Neural DSP do. I would love to see Archetype Korn. Are you ready? Dun, 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 dun. Oh no! That's the other thing. The tuning stability is also really nice for this guitar. And I had 84s on it. And then I changed my mind. I thought those were too beefy because I wanted to tune down to like the low E. And I realized it was just too low and it sounded way too much like a bass. I wanted it to still sound like a guitar. I realized when I went that low, it sounded just like a bass. And I wasn't really down. I didn't really want to do that. So I went and I put a set of, I think there's 74 to 14s. And so far, it's not turning the neck into a Hot Wheels racetrack. So at least that's good. And we're just chilling today. We're just having a good time, hanging out, doing some tone hunting. Holy smokes, this sounds fun. This is a really fun guitar to play. When you do a riff, I keep my I keep my stank face. Damn, that was a sick riff. Thanks so much. I don't remember the riff I played, but thank you very much. I don't know how to say your name. I don't know what to call you. Holy fuck, I don't know what that says. I see what looks to be a smiley face. I realize that this is I have no idea. I think Korn will live forever because they're just one of those bands that, like, they're one of that small handful of bands that just shook off the nu metal genre and just became their own thing. Like, they're like Limp Bizkit is just Limp Bizkit. It's not a nu metal band, it's just Limp Bizkit. Let's try something else in the IR section here. I'm just kind of farting around with these. Eddie, what's your favorite out of this pack here? I'm gonna try the V30s. Want to try the V30s? Oh no, not with that mic though. Oh, that sounds good. Free IRs sound this, man. There's so many awesome free things out there. If you want free IRs, go ahead and check out the Science IR pack. Guys, I am going to take a brief break here. Quick break back here for about another hour of fun skis. We're going to be checking out more of the amp locker. We're going to be checking out a bunch of other stuff. I had hoped to check out the Revolt DSP, but I haven't heard back from Ryan, I believe is his name. But we'll wait. We'll see what happens there. I'm gonna check out some of the Atlas DSP stuff, and again, if you have something you want me to use, I saw Distant get shouted out. That is definitely no problem. I'll load that up right now. And I want to tease something today, but but at the same time, like, I'm not, it's the beta is not fully ready, so I'm not going to tease it just yet. So you're like, great, thanks for telling us that you were going to tease, but then you're not going to tease. So what the fuck did you even tell us that for, asshole? Anyways, guys, I'll be back in about 2 to 3 minutes. Thank you so much for being here. Please do hit that like and subscribe button. I think I'm going to say it twice per stream now. I'm going to say it right before the break and right before the end. I think that's fair, right? Just a subtle reminder to like and subscribe. And if you dislike, leave a comment underneath and be like, I dislike this because of this reason. And we can talk about it. Don't be one of those people. And there'll be a negative Nancy. It's just like, I don't see any other dislikes. I'm going to dislike this. Throw us a fucking comment if you're going to dislike something. Throw us a comment and be like, hey, I didn't like it because you did too much of this or too much of that. Anyways, like and subscribe. See you guys in 2 or 3 minutes. This is that song I told you about with the, literally it's like, I have no idea how they play that with accuracy. It sounds like it's just something, it sounds something silly you might do like when you're laying around noodling with a guitar. I remember the first time I heard Korn, and I feel like it's worth It's really, it is worth the quick story. I just remember seeing them on this. If you're not Canadian, you won't remember the Power 30 or the Power Hour. Remember watching the Power Hour, Power 30, I think it was at the time, and seeing the video for, I think their very first video. It was that blend of Chutes and Ladders. And I think it was Chutes and Ladders actually was the first video, or I think that might have been their first single. I think that was the first video we saw. I don't think it was Blind. Or maybe it was. Or was the first video that little bit? I can't remember what it was. Either way, I remember seeing the video and going, what the fuck am I watching right now? And calling my buddy and being like, dude, are you seeing this? What the fuck? Yeah, you're not watching it? Okay, well, yeah, there's a bunch of dudes playing Steve Vai fucking gems and wearing Adidas suits, and it doesn't make any sense to me either, man. I don't know what this is. Yeah, I have no idea. Like, that was the conversation was just, we're talking to metal friends. Have you heard Korn yet? Yeah. What the fuck? That was basically like, we didn't know what to make of it. A lot of metalheads just hated it on principle. Whereas like real metalheads, I think, were like very curious about what this band was doing. Because at the time, nobody was doing anything like that. They were playing those Universe, the Steve Vai Universe fucking 7 strings. And they're playing them like tuned even lower. And at that point, there just wasn't a lot of, like, their 7 strings existed, obviously, because Steve Vai and John Petrucci and others were using them, but no one was really using that low string to guide the music. It was just like an extra string if you wanted to do like an extra extra low legato rip. You know what I mean? And like, I think Dream Theater was one of the first bands they used it in. Was it Lie to Me, or Lie was the song or something? That was one of the first riffs I heard where it's like the 7 string, the low string was like the dominant string. And then Korn just did something completely different. So it's totally worth mentioning that Korn is just, they're, like them or not, but you can't say that they're not fucking original as hell. Again, so bright. Wow, just so bright. Brighter than the sun, this thing. These pickups, so bright. And I'm not even using, I see what's happening here. Yeah, that's more like it. So a lot of people love this plugin. I've been doing some AR work sparingly for Wavemind. And a lot of people ask me about this plugin. I've sent a lot of it out. And the word is everywhere on this plugin. And I can promise you, some people are thinking like, I've actually seen the comment, like, how are they going to follow this one up? They're excited. I can tell you that the way that they're going to follow this up is going to be very exciting for you. For metal players, the next plugin from Wavemind, I can tell you, is a signature suite. Yes, it is. And I can also tell you that Wavemind has changed and completely upscaled some of his methods and some of his equipment and everything else. This plugin, in my opinion, just my opinion, okay? Calm down. This is my opinion. This next plugin is, I think, only about 2/3 the way built. And already I feel, this isn't my opinion. Okay, calm down. I can already feel he's not gonna say it's better than Distant, is it? Yes. Not only is it, in my opinion, better than Distant, it's gonna crush it like a beer can, like a strong man with a beer can. This one is awesome. I want to point out that I'm not tearing this plugin down at all because I very much enjoy this plugin. But I'm telling you, the next one, the way that Chris has upscaled a lot of his setup and he's doing his IRs, his new IRs are fucking amazing in comparison. And you guys are going to hear it. It's legit. And I can't wait for you guys to hear it. I'm going to go over to the EGA again because this is very, very, again, I'm just running into those. It's so bright. Can't see because the light too bright. He, honk, honk. If you've never seen Creed Shreds, you got to go. Beefy. Hold on, what we got here, guys? I disliked it because no baby shark through positive grid. You'll never hear positive grid bias on here because I don't want to create negative content. And that would just be... I'd be like that guy with the long curly hair that's always hawking Harley Benton. You know, like, some people like that attention. Some people talk shit nonstop because they know they'll get the attention and because they'll get that extra loving in the with the algorithm in the comments. People, because they know this is, I don't want to make bait content. I used to get, okay, I'm not kidding you. This is no word of a lie, and I wish Johan was in a stream right now because he could vouch for this. But in the early days, I'm gonna be as honest as I can be. The only reason I started honest amp sim reviews in the first place was because I literally called it honest amp sim reviews because of the marketing that surrounded positive grid bias. That was 100% the main reason I created that page, was because I could not believe the marketing I was seeing in this page. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I don't want to make that kind of content because I'm not even kidding you. I used to get, not death threats, but like I would get at one point maybe 10 emails a week because of that. The review, I gave it like a 1 out of 10. And I just talked about how bad and fizzy and how terrible the whole thing was. And you would be surprised. And in fact, I'm willing to bet you anything that if you've been around Amp Sim World, is it Amp Sim World? Tones and Sharing or something is the page? Hugo only he started that page because he was really mad about the Positive Grid reviews that we posted because he's a huge fan of Positive Grid. And so it's funny that how two groups and two different resources got created because of love or hatred for the hatred, whatever. It was terrible stuff. So I don't want to make content like that anymore. I really don't, because I just don't need it. I want to just create positive content that draws people's attention to really great stuff or shows people the way to get certain tones and with plugins only, or where you're after, just basic knowledge and this shit we talk in here. I would rather people come here for the occasional little gaming or wrestling tidbit that we like to throw in, as opposed to coming here and just watching me be like, you know what really grinds my gears, guys? You know what really grinds my gears? Positive Grid buys. That thing is just the worst piece of shit. And just like, I could make content like that, or make content calling people out for miming and all this other stuff. That's just, I don't want to breed negativity in the comments here, folks. All right, so just being very clear. Man, we are slow today. Not that slow. Anyways, how's everybody doing? I'm checking out the new. Not the new, but I'm checking out the Harley Benton Baritone, and it's getting some cat hair. It's getting some, man, ever since I made this more of a matte pickguard, and you can make a matte pickguard anytime you want, by the way. You just take a very light abrasive cloth and you do swirls, nice tight swirls, tons and tons of tight swirls on that pickguard, and before you know it, the gloss will be gone and you'll have a really nice two-tone kind of thing without it being two-tone. This plugin is a masterpiece. Nice. Cat hair adds 5% tone. So then why is my tone not fucking absolutely made of gold bars? One thing I got around here, it's cat hair, folks. But although I will say our boys don't shed that much because they eat really good, high quality food, and they don't shed that much. They really don't. The wife here will brush them once in a while, and they all gather in the kitchen while she brushes them. It's a wonderful sight. Everyone's really happy. You should do that today. It'd be fun. And then after a whole brush, like all we have five cats, all fixed and fat and plump, and indoor animals. And these guys, she'll brush them all, and then literally she won't even have a full brush. They shed very little for all being fuzzy and fluffy boys. All right, we're getting back to it. And so this thing sounds really good. So going from the start, if you're just joining us and if you're curious as to the full story of this guitar, I'll give you the very quick version. I purchased this guitar directly before the postal strike that we had here in Canada. I did not see this guitar for a very long time. It was stuck in a warehouse overseas because they weren't accepting any more parcels. So stuff just built up somewhere. This guitar was, I showed the guys in the chat from the staff can attest to the way the box looked. And the wife here can also attest to the way the box looked. It was one of those giant shipping boxes, and on the inside was the guitar box. And the shipping box on the outside of the actual guitar box on the inside was destroyed. It looked like Tom Hanks at the end of the fucking Burbs. It looked like it had been on the back of a soldier that had just gone into the absolute shit of a war. The guitar box on the inside, however, seemingly absolutely okay. I don't know how it happened, because when they dropped that off, I was very excited. I went and got it from my neighbor. This is not going to be a short story after all. And then, man, I took it from her, and I looked at it and just went, oh my God. I was so scared to look inside the box, but it turns out everything was good. They refunded me for shipping. Everything was well, and very excited. So this guitar sat in its stock form for a while. I was very impressed after doing, like I said, about 6 hours of total work to it. If you don't know how to do your own frets, it's really not hard. If you don't know how to polish your own frets, it's really not that difficult. Make sure you use masking tape, tape it all up the right way. And if I'm going to be honest with you, go to your local marketplace and buy the cheapest, shittiest pile of garbage guitar you can. Buy a few of them and practice on one of those necks before you go at one of your one of your beloved instruments. I would, also get a couple of the right files. But doing that, having said, I could have brought it to a tech, one of my local friends, and they probably would have charged me about $150 for the amount of work that was done, which wouldn't have even been that bad. All things considered, this guitar is it's built like a tank, which is great because it survived that awful shipping. So anyways, and then went through a few different ideas of the pickups I wanted to use, and I'm so happy with the EMGs. Although I will say it out loud once again, if you're watching this, you have no interest in amp sims, you're just watching this for the guitar and the guitar sounds. Like, I watched a lot of demos on this, and I'm hoping that people will watch this one even, and just to get a good idea of how this guitar can sound and play, and get an experienced and honest review of this instrument for the amount of money I paid. I know Seuss on our team, he likes his exactly from stock. And I don't understand it quite, because the frets when I got it were absolutely horrendously dirty and filthy and looked like unfinished metal. You could put the string on it and bend it like this, and you could feel and hear a and so it was really, really bad. So those needed to be polished at very least. I did that. I did the fret ends because it felt like a fucking cheese grater. I would have ripped my hands to shreds. 2 shreds. So beyond that, it needed very little work. But I will say, if you're planning on putting active pickups in this guitar, be prepared to get tight. shit is tight in here. You're probably not going to be able to get a tone control in there either. I didn't. This is a dummy. It's just a knob that is spinning. There's nothing attached to it, but I didn't want the open route. So I hope that this video has considered, somebody will be considered checking this guitar out. And so if you're curious, this is based off of the Line 6 Big Bottom, if I'm not mistaken here, loosely. They did their own. These are all Franken-amps in here, and the next one will also be Franken-ampy. When I say Franken-ampy, I mean the overkill switch is gonna do different things per amp. It's not just that Chris went and took the exact same feature. You're gonna see overkill on a lot of the amps. But it's not as if Chris at Wavemind just took exactly the same effect and put it in, every single amp. It's a different bag per amp, which is almost like, I kind of feel like maybe he should rename it. Otherwise, people may think that overkill, and I've had a couple people of the conversation where a lot of people thought that overkill was the same effect on different amps. You'll notice there's overkill here, and on the nail wound, it's in fucking overkill knob. It's in a knob form, but they do different things. Every time you see the overkill switch, which will also be involved in the next plugin, every single amp will also have overkill, and it does different things, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll be interesting when you see it on a clean amp, though, eh? To shreds. To shreds. I don't know what you mean. So we're just checking out the Flesh Weaver. This is the Harley Benton Baritone. I also did my own custom little switch tip. It was really easy. I took a Fender Strat switch tip because I didn't like the toggle switch tip. So I took this one and I just drilled a little hole that was the size, and then the threads just kind of matched up, and it worked great. So, and it's a lot lower profile. Got you. Man, I'm having a great time today. Saturday. Not sure what we have planned. We're gonna eat some. We're gonna make some dinner, hang out. We watched a movie last night called Rebel Ridge. Have you guys seen this movie? If you have not seen the movie Rebel Ridge, I would absolutely suggest that you go and do that soon. I was kind of taken aback by how good it was and how well made it was, and the entire movie keeps you right in it. Great movie. And I think the wife is probably at least loosely considering playing the new Oblivion. Maybe. We'll see. Man, chat's slow today, folks. Do a cat brushing stream once in a while? All right. I could do that. We have an idea for a fun YouTube channel. I'm not going to give it away, though. It's not cat brushing, but that would be kind of fun too, although that exists already. There's lots of cat groomers on YouTube. Lots of cat groomers. This is not my favorite amp in this. This is definitely, well, I mean, this is 5150 ish, and this is a fun amp. It's just so beefy. my God, that's just so heavy. Wowzers. I try not to like electric callboy, but I'll admit, I don't hate them. I wouldn't say I'm the hugest fan by any means, but I wouldn't like, I have no issues with that band whatsoever. The first song I heard by these guys was the Hypa Hypa song. And that one I was like on the fence with. I was like, I don't know, man. It's kind of, but it was catchy. But then a couple of the other songs came out, and then, man, their videos are hilarious. Also, I really want a drum kit again so I can play these songs. Even an E-kit would be great. After I get my wrist fixed anyways, that's going to be a while. I don't know if I should be playing drums, although I played drums for years with a fucking broken wrist apparently. Yeah, I'm going to keep harping on this because it still baffles my brain that that's my current scenario. It's super weird. Dun, 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 dun. Melvin's cover. Yeah. So all in all, man, it's been a fun day. I'm not getting out of here just yet. I'm going to be here a little while yet. We're going to have some fun. We're going to get some more tones going. And if you're in the chat and you're new here, I would say something. Wave at me. Smile at me. You know? Even if you don't feel like engaging. I know there's been a couple people. There's one guy that was in the comments after the fact said, I would get in the chat more, but it's, it moves pretty fast and it's kind of intimidating because he's like, I'm a beginner user. You know what? If you're a beginner and you're in the chat right now, please never ever, ever feel like a question or a comment or anything like is going to bother this chat. If you have a question, that's one of the reasons we exist, is to help newer users. And because, let me be honest with you, I know more than a few users that tried to get into plugins, but the learning curve absolutely killed it for them. Man, they're like, they couldn't, there's she's like, options paralysis. They weren't sure what was good, what wasn't good, especially when you have loaded reviews out there. That's why paid positive reviews and old reviews that give stuff 5 stars and everything else, like, 10-year-old 5-star reviews is going to sometimes those stuff like that can confuse newer users. So coming to a place like this where our entire team always has we always have our ear to the ground. Our thumb is always on the pulse of things. And so you can always feel free to ask any, new user, intermediate user questions. If you need clarification on anything, you want us to slow the fuck down. If there's a feature in an amp sim that you have questions about, a company of, anything that you have for us, let us know, because we want to absolutely kill that learning curve for you so that you can just jump in and have fun. And that's the thing about sims, is they're fun. You will become a collector for a bit, and it's also our job here to help you guys stay away from the stuff that really just is not worth your time or your money, or at very least tell you to be cautious and really get some work into the trials before purchasing products from certain developers and et cetera, et cetera. When it comes to going back to Positive Grid, I know a lot of people started on Positive Grid and then realize there's more out there. It doesn't take long to get into a product gateway style. Like a lot of people started on Amplitude back in the day. Lots of people. I started on the Lapoo stuff, the Poolin stuff that's still around and does exist. And but a lot of people cut their teeth on Amplitude and then realized there was more out there once they started finding new developers like Kazrog at the time. Scuff'em and everything else. Now you get into things, you see an ad on Facebook and they make the ads, and Positive Grid knows how to do one thing. It's market. And people see this software and they get it, and then they start hearing about companies like Neural or Wavemind or STL Tones or, you know, Aurora DSP, and they start realizing, oh, there's a whole other fucking world out here. And it can be a confusing world as well, because it's such it's becoming such a massive market. So if you're out there and you're in the chat and you want to talk new stuff, do let us know if we can help you at all, ever, please. There's nothing wrong with Amplitude in its current format, although back in the day, it really didn't keep up with stuff like Kazrong, or there was definitely stuff out there that was just way, way superior. Even like the Poolin stuff was, in my opinion, quite superior to Amplitude. But then came Amplitude, the end of the cycle of the end of the cycle of Amplitude 4, where they overhauled the entire cab section, they overhauled the power amp modeling, and suddenly all of these amps came alive, and you're like, whoa, holy shit, all this sounds good. And it's like you're a kid in a candy store all of a sudden, you know. Then Amplitude 5 came, and it just, you know, if you get the max bundle or whatever else, like, man, it will really impress you at this point. But still, when put up against like Neural DSP, STL Tones, Wavemind, Aurora DSP and stuff, even the current build of Amplitude does, in some areas, some of the amps need to be put to sleep. They've, you know, there's still legacy bringing stuff from like Amplitude 1 or Amplitude 2. They're still like bringing that legacy stuff in. And I think that there are some of those amps that for the next version just need to go to sleep. They need to just, because it's water. All it does is water your sure, you can boast you have X amount of components, but when you have, you know, 25, 30% of them that kind of suck and should be retired, they are just end up watering down your collection and your collection and selection rather. So I think there's definitely some legacy products with the next version. I don't think it'll be long till we see a new version of Amplitude. When that comes out, I'm hoping there's a few amps that either they rework or put them to sleep, because, and you guys know the ones I'm talking about. If you've been using Amplitude since like the 3rd version or whatever, you know that there's amps that are still getting, pull them over. And some of those amps just don't fit anymore. Yeah, man, we've been using it throughout the stream today. This is a JA Harley Benton JA Baritone with a P90 sized EMG 85 and 81. I'm super happy with it. Super happy. Wowzers. Wowzers. The beef is strong in this, man. So much beef. And this is not boosted, so we could go boost it with the slaughter. Man, these graphics. There was a dude I just sent this plugin to who just called this, immediately messaged me back and said, this is straight up the coolest looking plugin I've ever fucking seen. He's like, I haven't even played one note on it yet. He's like, I already love it because I love looking at it. And that is great. I think that's fun. But as long as it is a plugin, it still rips though, right? Stuff can look cool and sound like crap. Altitude. I was just calling this reliable, and then it's just, I will say though, the tuners really are legit. I don't know how they released this guitar for this price point though. I don't understand it. I really don't get it, because this thing is just, it doesn't feel like you're playing a cheap instrument. And it doesn't sound like it either after a really good full, thorough setup and you know, a little bit of how are you and clean up TLC. After all that, it just feels like like if someone handed me this guitar with these pickups in it, in its current situation, in this guitar's current state, and said, how much do you think this guitar is worth? I would probably say closer to $600, $700, $800 with premium pickups, but that's in fact not true. I was really glad that I found this direct drop-in replacement because, man, rerouting pick guards and stuff, and man, they do sell though. They do sell a custom version of this pick guard for I think like $45 or $50 made on eBay. So if you're curious and you want to do just like I really was close to doing just a single pickup and getting a pick guard and all that, but nah. This is a thal stick for sure. I would call it a thal stick. Is there like a tuning restriction for a thal stick? What the fuck is thal anyways? Is thal just gent? Is it not just gent? What is the difference between, can someone explain to me the difference between thal and gent? I'm an old man. I don't understand all this new shit going on. Somebody explain it to me. Wow. It's just such a fun guitar to play. God dang. Yes, indeed. Rudy Castillo, how are you? It's nice to see you. Really nice to see you, as a matter of fact. It's nice to see everybody here. I'm having a great time today. I'm on fire. I'm on fire today. When I say that, I mean like I'm just like you have one of those days where you're just, things are kind of going right. So even the stuff that went horribly wrong with the install today, aka melting the fucking three-way switch somehow. I've never done that. I didn't even know you could do that. But fact is, I did somehow melt and ruin something in the very, very, very cheap three-way switch toggle that was in here. And I also stabbed myself, as mentioned, impaled myself with one of the EMG pots, which was, how do you even do that? In the area, if it had hit right here or up here, it would have just like glanced off. Here, it would have just wouldn't have even gone in because my fingertips are pretty, I mean, I've got some decent calluses on both hands. And then, but how rare is it that something goes right between your nail and the flesh, right in the soft bit? That sucks. Getting a fucking paper cut there is brutal too. Yeah. If right there, if you want, I'm still saying the best bang for the buck in the entire industry. If I could only use one plugin for and someone's like, oh, we're going to give you a fucking gajillion dollars if you only just promote one plugin. Some like business fat cat came and offered me a whole bunch of money just to promote one thing. It would only be Line 6 Helix Native. There's so much gear in there, and most of it sounds really good. Really, really good. Don't forget, never sleep on Line 6. Because Line 6 has been doing this shit for 20 years longer than a lot of the companies that are doing it right now. Just want to put that out there. They've been doing it at least 15 years longer than basically every company at the top of this industry. We just want to make sure that no one is sleeping on Line 6 modeling, because their shit's really good. They know a few things. And Line 6 Helix Native, yes, even at sale price, it's like $200 or $125. I think it was the cheapest I've ever seen. It was $125 or $140. But if you eye that up between your average suite, your average premium suite's going to give you probably, 2 amps worth of channels, 3 or 4 cabinets, maybe 8 or 9 pedals at most. And that's going to cost you $129.99. Or on the other side of that, Helix Native is, if at its deepest sale price, is going to be like $150. And you were going to get like 1,000 pieces of gear in that thing. And it's not like positive grid bias effects where it's all empty shells that they just painted up and say, hey, it's this thing. We know you don't actually know what this really sounds like, though. So you know what it looks like and you've heard of it, but you probably don't know enough to know that it doesn't sound much like the real things. But hey, it's here. That's an empty shell. And Line 6 Helix Native does not have a lot of empty shells. Also, a number of really big name artists that use it and aren't even being paid to use it. It is really good stuff. So never sleep on Line 6. I guess that's what we're going to have to do then. We're going to have to go with Line 6 Helix Native in a stream at some point soon. I often forget about it. I don't know why. People make Line 6 stuff sounds so good, but every time I try, no, hang on a second. I'm not saying that Line 6 Helix Native is like the best, sounding stuff on the market. I honestly just feel it is, the consistency is there. It's one of those things that you always know is going to be, it's pretty close. And it gives you about 70 to 80% realism, that replica factor. Something, it's not going to be nothing's going to be 1-to-1, but it's all going to be pretty serviceable. And they randomly drop free gear in there for people as well. It's constantly updated. And I think it's annually, they just, here's some more gear, some more pedals, some more of this, some more of that. It's all for you for free. Once you buy it, you just keep getting the updates and upgrades and everything else, which is pretty sweet. I won't lie to you there. You need a cold solder? What do you mean? A cold shower or a cold solder? I mean, it sounds great when other people use it. Well, that's the thing, though. I think that maybe, I don't know. I don't know why you're having that situation. It is what it is. I mean, I used the Pod 2.0 for a really long time, and I loved that thing. I loved it. It was so fucking handy for me. I used that in my Alesis power amp. I had a BBE Sonic Maximizer there's just a few things in the rack, and I was just so happy with that rig. It sounded great, and it was compact, and I was packed up. I was set up in 5 minutes. I was packed up in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? It was literally just take the covers off, put the cabinet on top, plug things in, and you're done. Tune up. Tuner's built right into I had the floorboard with the dual expression pedal, and it just worked. It was such a great and handy setup. I've nothing ever bad to say about Line 6, actually, apart from the Veta heads, the original Line 6 heads that came out that were like starting on fire and melting at those were that was kind of funny. Anyways, how's everybody doing? How's your Saturday going? I'm very curious. If you're new to this chat, I want you to make yourself known. Like that guy. When you do a riff, I keep my stank face. Damn, that was a sick riff. I don't know what that guy's name was. Is that guy still in the chat? I want to say, do you have a name? I don't know. Am I going to call you Smiley Face Square? That's what I'm going to be doing. It looks like a smiley face and a square. So I'm going to call you the Smiley Square. Let me know if I'm wrong. If that dude is still in the chat, that dude's winning a plugin. Wowzers! This thing is beef. I went to go pick up my Joe Hendry shirt today. I was so excited. It was like a whole part of my, like, that was the only thing that bummed me out a little bit today. Yeah, get a note. I always say you have to leave a notice in my neighborhood because if they leave a parcel, it's going to be stolen in at the pawn shop inside like an hour. We have porch pirates, scumbags around here. Even though we got cameras, there's still scumbags everywhere. Just terrible. I think it's great in the States, like in a lot of states. As far as I know, in a lot of states, if you catch a porch pirate and feed them like that's you have grounds to get to. Is it? If I'm not, hang on, let's get this straight. Did I hear it wrong, or is in a lot of states, if you find a porch pirate stealing from your property or on your property, you can feed them a beating. And you probably won't get a lot of trouble. I don't know if that's true. I know there are gun things going on in the States too, where like I think if they're on your property and they're taking stuff and you have firearms, then like that's scary shit, man. I don't know how porch pirates get in Canada though. It's a different story. We don't have all those rights. I'm pretty sure that they could just walk up and take it, and I will just walk. Literally, I just have to watch them walk away and say hi, thank you. Thank you for stealing my parcel. Thanks, buddy. Depends on the state. Either way, though, I told them to leave a notice. They left a notice. I went to my postal outlet, and they said it got left on a truck over the weekend, even though I got the notice on a Thursday. Fuck. That's lazy shit right there. Lazy. That was somebody's like, I'm getting off for the weekend, and I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'll do it on Monday. Either way, next stream, folks, you're going to see me sporting a Joe Hendry shirt in celebration of what happened at WrestleMania. One of the coolest things I think I've ever seen. The loudest pop I've ever heard. One thing I do want to try while we're here, I want to give it the Doom love too. Do you think this is going to Doom? I know the 81, the 85 loves to Doom. Let's see what we can do here. I think it's going to like this. That was fun. And yeah, the EMG 85 is loving the dooms. Oh, my Lanta. Beef. Let's hear the 81. Wow, this is our free plugin collaboration with Wavemind, by the way. This is the NAMM Universal. And Wavemind is quite busy at the moment, but I promise you that this will get an update. It will get an update where the presets will become available, and we're going to add some stuff to it as well. The original V2, the V2 idea we had is likely not going to come to pass through just a bunch of conversation and just the way the market is going. We're probably just going to leave it at a free version, add some stuff to the toolkit, and just add the ability to add the presets and add the ability to share presets and such. So we're pretty excited about that. Also, by the way, you don't have to limit yourself to the toolkit. Just head over to yeah, you have to head over to Tone Hunt. Oh wait, no, it's not Tone Hunt anymore. It's Tone 3000. I didn't intend on getting my snicker in there, but that's fun. Delayed snicker. Fuck, how's everybody doing? It's Saturday night, Saturday day, Saturday night, Saturday afternoon. I think for Eddie, it's like 3 o'clock. For me, it's like 6:15. And I'm probably going to zip out of here in a few minutes. I couldn't be more. I just honestly couldn't be happier with how well this... yeah, you're right. It was a ridiculous name change. It's going to stay Tone Hunt. I guess we have to change it to Tone 3000. Tone Hunt it was. Not Tone Zone. That's... Well, no, I guess you're talking about a different name? Tone Zone? Isn't that a pickup? That's a pickup. Tone 3000. Either way, that place is the place you want to go to get all of your NAMM captures and a lot of really great free impulse responses as well. And you go there and just get all the pedals you can imagine, get all the amps you can think about, get all the IRs, all free. It's all free. I don't care what the site's called. It's still handy as fuck. I don't think this would be broken then, wouldn't it? Would this be... No, it's not broken in. It's just the link still works. It's fine. So if you go here, I haven't been here in a bit. Oh, that logo is also just... That logo is bad ski. It makes my eyes angry. I'm not shitting. I guess somebody purchased Tone Hunt. I guess 2 investors. I don't know what the story is with the change of ownership or whatever it is. But man, that logo is... I'm glad it's a beta Because if that is brutal. It makes my eyes want to barf. I'm not shitting on these guys at all. The name is silly. Yes, the name change was silly because tone hunt is exactly what you're doing. That's what you're doing when you go here. You're hunting for tone. Tone hunt. I don't understand why tone 3000, but that being said, it's still here. It's still awesome. And you can go just check out. Oh, wait. I actually don't even know my way around here anymore. I literally cannot tell you how to get to what anymore. It's very different from the last time I was here, which sucks because when it was originally Tone Hunt was so handy, the way you could just rip through stuff and be like download, 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 download. Now it's way different. And I don't know how to get anywhere or do anything. I guess I have to log in. I don't know exactly. Either way, go here and get everything you'll ever need for NAMM Universal. And I'm currently using a Doom preset that is all just buildable with stuff in the toolkit. It's just a Marshall amp, a Sun cabinet, and a homemade Hyperfuzz clone made by Bo himself. And so I would say it's turned out pretty good though if you listen to this tone. Eddie, do we know the reason for that? Chris, if Chris was here, Chris would be able to tell you that. Tone 3000 is about to start offering a marketplace for paid plugins, which I have mixed feelings about. What do you mean a marketplace? You mean like where people can trade licenses? That's not going to work. That's only going to work with the developers that allow it. I don't know how they're going to manage that. I actually think the idea of being able to sell used plugins is pretty cool. I actually don't mind that a ton. I really don't mind that a ton. Is that what you're talking about? Paid captures. That's fine. I got you. Never mind. I was going to say, I don't know how the fuck you would manage that to work. I know that you can do it with like iLok licenses. License can be transferred, but when it comes, most companies have gotten away from iLok apart from Neural DSP and Mixwave. I think the only two of the upper companies that are even still doing iLok. And I think if you're not on iLok, that used plugins would just not work. That would be very difficult to pull off and a huge headache for developers as well. A marketplace for paid captures, that's fine. I don't mind that. I don't mind it. I mean, ToneX has it, right? And if you're not paying for the software, paying for capture packs, not such a bad idea. That being said, I have my own thoughts about paying for the. I mean, some of the paid stuff is really good though. And some of the people that put a little extra gear and extra time towards it, and they want to be paid for their time. I get it. It's their gear collection, their time. I respect that. That being said, I also I double respect anybody that's willing to go and make really rad stuff for free as well. That's pretty awesome. Because I mean, paid NAMM packs are everywhere. So putting them all in one place for consumers rather, the average users. The problem is though, I don't know how well they sell because the majority of NAMM users, and I think they even did some sort of survey, the majority of NAMM users, they want everything. They love it because it's free. And they love Tone Hunt because Tone Hunt is free. And they don't really want to pay for anything. And that's sort of their thing. A lot of the NAMM, loyalists and users, their thing is using NAMM and doing their own thing and doing it all for free and having the bragging rights to say all of what I do is free. And that's nothing wrong with that. I think paying for a NAMM capture pack is not a bad idea. But at the same time, it's I don't know. I mean, I think I've got 5 or 6 paid packs, and they're all pretty damn good. But that being said, I've also got a ton of stuff that was free that is literally at the same high quality level. I don't know. Yeah, Slam and Mofo's got like he or they or whomever. I think it's a they. They have terrific stuff. I'd love to. And Eddie, you said did you get in touch with them, or you got in touch with Helga B finally, right? So we're going to be featuring a few more creators in our toolkit when our toolkit gets beefed up, and I'm going to be on top of Chris in hopes that Chris will. After this next release, and the next release is, guys, it's going to be huge. I can just tell you that. It's all I can say is the next Wavemind release is going to be huge because this artist is getting big push right now. Big push from endorsers and other companies. This particular artist this plugin is going to be ridiculously good. But I think as soon as this one is finished, I'm just going to hope that Chris will put, a couple of days work in. We can get a few added features that we've thought about as well. We're renaming a couple components to make it a little bit less confusing. High pass, low pass filter, some small upgrades, but still solid upgrades for NAMM Universal are coming. All right, guys. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys being here for 2+ hours today. A stream tomorrow may or may not happen. If I can get my Telecaster, I actually am going to bring this Telecaster, just bringing it to a friend of mine, because I feel if I work on it anymore, I'm going to break it. I'm going to burn something out, or when you're working with fisherman stuff, and you're working with a really hot iron, there's always a chance that you could damage something. And I don't want to damage it any further than I may have already damaged it. So, that being said, if I get that fixed, I'm going to jump on tomorrow with that pickup set just for a little fun. But if not, it is what it is. I will see you guys next Friday. And next Friday, I'm hoping that we can take a run through Genome, the new amps. I threw a word out to... 2 Notes to see if they'd mind sending over some of those for promotion. It should be fun. We're also going to be, I believe by next weekend, there will be a release of do I have it still in here? No, I don't. The Aurora DSP La Boga DS will be coming out as well. Very excited about that. And if you guys haven't heard about it yet, man, it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you get on the Aurora DSP social media where they've already, teasing the product. It's out there. People know that it's coming, and it's a versatile and fun beast to play around on. All right, guys. Thank you, and more thank yous for everybody for being here. Like and subscribe, please, if you don't mind. That would be really cool. And I will see you guys next Friday, probably about 4:30ish or so p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I did say I was giving away a copy of Absalon today, so I'm going to be giving that to... Looking through... Mark Studios. Mark Studios. Jump at me. The AmpSimUniverse at gmail.com, and I'll make sure you get a copy of Absalon. And it's a lot of fun. All right. See you guys next week. Thank you again. Thank you 3, 4, and 300 times. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here. See you next time.
He appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause they love 'em in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico. They say, I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry.